If you want a more flexible, supple, and agile body, you're in the right place. Mobility plays a huge role not only in your workouts, but in your everyday life. My program breaks down everything you need to know to help your body move better and then helps you put that knowledge into practice. Mobility affects how your body feels when you get up in the morning, the ease of your daily activities, how limber you stay as you get older, your overall fitness and performance. Mobility has a tremendous impact on your quality of life because when you move better, you just plain feel better. For the first 5 days of this mobility challenge, you'll focus on exercises to improve specific body parts. Then on day 6, you'll put it all together with a total body mobility routine. None of the contents of this exercise guide should be taken as medical advice. Please check with your healthcare provider to make sure that these exercises are safe for you. As you can imagine, mobility is vital when it comes to having a body that performs for you in everyday life. It's being able to reach overhead to get something off the top shelf, or easily bending down to pick up something off the floor, or even being able to turn your head to look over your shoulder. But it's often confused with flexibility because the two are so intertwined. It can help you think of mobility as applied flexibility. Lack of activity destroys the good condition of every human being, while movement and methodical physical exercise save it and preserve it. Plato. Here's a simple example of mobility versus flexibility. Lie on the floor on your back with knees bent and feet flat on the floor. Raise one knee toward your chest. Your hip mobility is how far up your knee can get without any assistance. Now grab your knee and pull it closer to your chest. This assisted stretch shows your overall hip flexibility. So the difference is that while flexibility tends to be more passive, mobility is active. Notice that the stiffest tree is most easily cracked, while the bamboo or willow survives by bending with the wind. Bruce Lee. There's a third function to know about when it comes to mobility, because it's designed to keep your body safe and strong. Your joints need an anchor point, a start-stop position, so that they can move through their normal ranges of motion at an appropriate speed. Without that anchor, they can become unstable and set you up for all sorts of problems. Your body has a chain of connected joints that allows you to move while also keeping you safe and stable. It's called the kinetic chain. If one link in that chain isn't working properly by being either too tight or too loose, it can throw off many other links in the chain. Scientists are continually learning more about fascia and the role it plays in our movement and our health. Even though it looks like a single sheet of tissue, it's actually multiple layers that are separated by layers of a liquid. Healthy fascia stretches and glides as it moves because it's flexible and supple. But if it becomes damaged or unhealthy, it gets thick and sticky. It can dry up and tighten around your muscles. You can imagine how this can get in the way of your mobility and even cause painful knots. If you've ever tried to roll out a knot using a foam roller, you know firsthand how painful this can be. Here are some things that can affect your mobility. Age. As you get older, your mobility tends to go down. Factors playing a role: less lubricating fluid in your joints, thinner cartilage around your joints, and shorter ligaments. But you have more control over that than you might think. Many age-related changes to your joints are caused by one thing: lack of activity. Lack of activity. Moving your joints regularly helps keep the fluid moving around them, while inactivity can cause cartilage to shrink and stiffen, reducing your joint mobility. No matter your age, being more active can help improve your mobility. How you're built. We're all put together a bit differently, and some of us have joints that allow more movement than others. Plus, we can have individual difference in our fascia, more on that shortly, and connective tissues. Tissue surrounding your joints. If there's a lot of muscle or adipose tissue surrounding a joint, it can physically prevent your joints from moving through their full range of motion. For an example, a bodybuilder with large biceps and tricep muscles that can get in the way of fully extending or contracting their elbows. And the last item is injury. Trauma or tissue damage from repetitive use can also play a role in joint mobility. There are 4 benefits of mobility that I want to discuss today. One of them is lower risk of injury. Studies show that having a smaller range of motion through a joint raises your risk of getting injured. The second is improved posture. Tight joints can throw your whole body out of whack. For example, if your hips lack mobility, it can affect your spine, cause shoulder stiffness, and even affect your neck. Then there's ease of movement. Have you ever tried to reach your arms overhead and found that they wouldn't straighten or that they wouldn't extend without shrugging your shoulders? Over time, this can lead to a cycle of less activity, even less mobility, and potentially an increase in pain. And the last item is active aging. If you think this doesn't apply to you, I've got news for you. Unless you're active, your mobility starts to go downhill at age 30. The steps you take now can pay off for decades to come. I hope you'll decide to sign up for this new challenge. I know you're going to love it, and your future body will thank you.